you doing? My name's Guy. This is Guy Talk Sports. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for clicking on this video. Got a really good show. Going to talk about the University of Tennessee's basketball team getting a massive win at home against Texas A&M. I'm going to talk about that. We'll end with just a little bit of a quick little touch on Tennessee baseball and their wins. So going to be really good. Going to take a dive into the game. Before we get going, though, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Helps out this show tremendously. Like, trying to get to 1,000. We're growing. We're at, I think at this time of the video, we're at 32. So, progress. Anyway, thank you for being here. Let's get into this. Before I dive into the game, I want to make a huge shout out to Coach Rick Barnes, the head coach of UT basketball, the men's basketball team. He got his 800th win last night against Texas A&M, and that's a big feat. It's nothing to scoff at. I think last night during the game, I think they said he was only the 15th coach to do this in history. So it's a big accomplishment. I know as a UT basketball fan, I was really bummed out with the whole Bruce Pearl fiasco. I went to the University of Tennessee for undergrad, and my first 2 years there were his last two. And he had such an energy about him. There was such an energy around that program, and the games were fun to go to. And then once they let him go, it was like, okay, what's going to happen next? And they brought on Conzo Martin, and he did okay. I thought he did an okay job. Those teams weren't the most fun to watch just because that brand of basketball. You were looking at a 60-point game almost every time, 50 to 60-point game, and playing good defense. So, it was fine. But once he left, they brought on Donnie Tyndall, and that was just a debacle. And I wasn't sure how to feel about him when they brought him on, and then the whole thing with the NCAA with him and all that, and wasn't sure what to expect after he was let go. And then they brought on Rick Barnes, and I remember when they hired him, I was actually really excited because back then, this is like 2015, we weren't really making the tournament. I think Tyndall went 16-16 his 1 year here. And the thing with Rick Barnes was he, at Texas at that time, I believe he had made the tournament 15 out of 17 years. And I know he's never won a national championship, but that was still big time. Like, 15 out of 17. Yeah, we'll just appreciate going to the dance, And he's been so consistently good for us. Year in, year out, we're at the top of the SEC. Proud to call him our head basketball coach. Always seems to do everything with class. And for this year, I really think we have a shot at making a very deep run. I hope we do anyway. But anyway, once again, congratulations, Coach Barnes. 800 wins. That is quite an achievement. So let's get into this game. If you were watching basketball yesterday at 4 o'clock, Kentucky absolutely played amazing. I don't know where that Kentucky team has been the last few years or last few games, but they beat Alabama, and that was a big game. That's who we needed to win. We needed Kentucky to beat them because that meant if we beat Texas A&M, we would go into a tie for first place in the SEC. So it was a big deal, and Tennessee trounced a troubled Texas A&M team, 86-51. I think Texas A&M, I don't know if they've won a game since they beat us last time. So it was that they're kind of spiraling. It was a big win. It was a big win. I think it's the most fun I've seen our team have all year. There were alley-oops being thrown around. Everybody got a dunk. And we absolutely shot the lights out. I mean, just bucket after bucket. Defense was smothering. It was clear from the very beginning what our game plan was. It was to clog the lane, don't let them in, and make them shoot from the outside. And at first, they were hitting some shots, and it was tied up, in the 20s. But really, after the first 10 minutes, they stopped hitting, so many shots, and then they got left behind. It was a physical game at first. Refs let a lot go at the beginning of the game, but it got cleaned up. Tennessee started pulling ahead. I think it was 37-27 at the end of the first half, and never looked back. Never looked back, and it ended up winning 86-51, only letting Texas A&M score 24 points in that second half. So big game. Let's get into some of the team stats. First thing I want to look at is shooting percentage. Tennessee shot 52% from the floor, 33 of 63. Three-point percentage was 35%, 7 of 20. So that really good. One of the biggest stats, 23 assists. 23 assists. So we were passing the ball well, not being selfish with it, and everybody was getting their turn. And then biggest thing I thought compared to the last time we played Texas A&M was rebounding. Offensive rebounds were the same at 9-9, but total rebounds 49 for Tennessee, 31 for Texas A&M. So out rebounded them, honestly out physicaled them, and outplayed them all together. It was all in all just a whipping of the Aggies. That's a long flight home after getting a 35-point win like that. So fouls were the same, steals were the same. We had 6 blocks. They only had 1. We had 12 turnovers to their 10. Free throw percentage, 72% for us, so a little better. I'd like to see that keep creeping up. 53% for them. They just did not shoot well. They shot 27% from the floor. 18 of 66. That's tough. 27% we said. 21% from 3-point range. 7 of 34. So just a bad night. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. It was bad. It was bad. Let's dive in to some of these stars. And I think if you watch that game at all, I think, obviously everybody's eyes are on Dalton Knecht, right? He had a great game. In fact, we can go ahead and look at his stats real quick. In 28 minutes, he had 24 points, was leading scorer. I think in my last video, I said he was the leading scorer last time. He was not. Awaka was, and we'll talk about him here in a minute. But anyway, he had 24 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, was 7 of 14 from the floor, so 50%, which is great. 4 of 9 from 3. Again, great. Was 6 of 7 from free throws. I think he missed his first free throw, and then after that didn't miss. So that's what you want to see. I mean, he was a star. Is electric. The cut, he made this one really amazing cut that Ziegler threw a pass to, and he dunked it, and it was such a great play. Just watching it on the on TV, you could see that lane open up, and he recognized it instantly. Ziegler, we'll talk about him in a second, but Knecht, I think he is really establishing himself as the SEC Player of the Year. We'll see about National Player of the Year, but had a great game. But I think as many points as he scored, I think Ziegler, I don't know, you could argue 3 different people were player of the game this game. But for me, Ziegler was absolutely dominant. He was so dominant. He had he played more minutes than anybody, 35 minutes. He was so close to a triple-double. So close to a triple-double. He had 9 points, 9 rebounds, and then 14 assists, which is a career high for him. 14 assists. He only shot 3 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, was 2 of 2 for free throws. Let's see here. I was trying to see. He had 4 steals as well. And so it was a pickpocket. Played absolutely. It was probably the best game I've seen him play. I mean, I know he can shoot better than that. But he was aggressive. He was stealing the ball. He was seeing everybody on the court, was throwing everybody open, and truly was leading that team. And he's such an easy person to root for. Like, you just love the heart he has. Typically always the smallest guy on the court with the biggest impact. I mean, truly. Like, it was just amazing. And then you have Jonas Adu, who had a double-double, probably played the best game I've seen him play as well. He had 18 points and 14 rebounds. No assists, but 18 and 14, was 9 of 14 from the floor. Missed 2 free throws, but I think he had 3 blocks as well. And it was, I think it was the most aggressive I've seen him play. Really was aggressive, shot the ball well, played great, rebounded great, and that's what you want to see from him. And so those big 3 really had amazing games. And for the second week in a row, Tobe Awaka comes off the bench, has 12 points, 6 rebounds, shoots 5 of 6 from the floor. Never shoots a 3. Was 2 of 4 for free throws. And then you had, just to wrap it up, I believe James had 8 points, Vescovi 6 points, and both of them played fine. Meshack 4, Gainey 3, Carr had 2. But I mean, you had those big 3, and then Awaka coming off the bench, and this team looks good. They look really good, and they're playing, I think, some of their best ball, which is good. And it's just in time for their next game, which is at home on Wednesday at 7 p.m. against Auburn. Wednesday being the 28th. And it's a massive game. Honestly, the next 4 games are massive. It's 4 of the top teams in the SEC. You have Auburn on Wednesday at 7. And then the next 4 games, you have Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina. So it's at Alabama, at South Carolina, and your last game is at home against Kentucky. And if you can pull out 3 of 4 of those, those are be tough games. You could potentially and probably should be a 1 seed. So massive games coming up. Quick look at Tennessee baseball. They beat the University of Albany on Friday, 8-5, 21-6 yesterday, and they'll finish off the series in Knoxville today, Sunday, the 25th, at 1 p.m. So I think they're on a 5-game win streak now, looking good. That's pretty much it for this video. Look for me to do another video. I'm hoping I can, if I have enough time. I've worked several days in a row, and I have to travel a long way to get there, so it takes a lot of time. But I'm either going to do a video today or tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, so we'll see. Because I want it to be a big one. Because I know I'm a little late to this. The preliminary injunction hearing results came out. I think it was Friday, and it was in favor of the state of Tennessee. So the NCAA, massive loss, had a huge loss in this. And there's a lot of stuff that goes with it, and so I'm looking to do a video there to kind of break that down. I've been following that story, and so anyway, yeah, that's it. Thank you. If you've made it this far, we're 15 minutes into this video, or close to it. If you've made it this far listening to me, I appreciate it. Again, comment if you want to, like it. Even better. Biggest thing you can do for me, hit that subscribe button, please. Thank you. I hope you have a great day. Go Vols, and we'll see you next time.